the pregnancy cannot continue, so we had to terminate this pregnancy. Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ada. This is your first time you're seeing my face. You're welcome here. Thank you for clicking on this channel. And to my returning subscribers, blood guys. Thank you guys for coming back, and it's always an amazing time with you guys. Today, like we already know, is Tuesday and it's TTT episode 2. So today I'm going to be talking about a very personal topic, something that is so personal to me and my family, and I'm hoping you guys are going to love it and learn from it. So after we had the first episode of True Talk Tuesday, I got a DM from somebody, and one of my subscribers actually. So she came over to my Instagram page and sent me a DM, and honestly, it touched something in me, and it's part of the reason why I am going to be speaking on this topic. It's about raising or having a preterm baby. And like I mentioned in the last episode, I talked about where I had 2 preterm babies, and I am going to be sharing that with you guys because of what this person wrote to me. It was so heartbreaking. It was actually very, I could feel her pain. I could understand where she's coming from, and I decided to share this with you guys today, and so that a larger audience can benefit from it, learn from it, and also know that it happens. Life happens. It doesn't make you a bad person or a bad mother or an incomplete woman. So if this feels like something you're going to be interested in, please stick around. So it's going to be a bit of a story time because I'm going to give my background story, and it's going to be a bit long. So I'll advise you to grab a snack, a drink, or even a tissue if you get emotional at the end of the day. So I'm going to be reading the message that I received, and it's going to be popping up in the screen as well. So it's, hello Sake's world. I listened to your Tuesday talk show, and I must confess, you're a strong woman. Thank you. I'm learning to be a strong woman. Talking about how you had premature children and all. I had a baby some weeks ago, and she was a preemie or a primey, and I am ashamed of myself, like I have failed as a woman. Please, how did you cope when you had your children before 40 weeks? I really need help. Thank you. I also had another DM, but it's almost related. So for that, she just sent me a message that she's been trying to have a child. She's been married for a couple of years, not up to 3 years, and so she's not getting pregnant, and it feels like, okay, the universe is against her and all of that. So I'm going to combine these 2 stories into what I'm going to talk about today. Like most women who get married, rather, we hope to get pregnant. If that's our aim, we hope to get pregnant as soon as we get married, or immediately after we get married, and it doesn't work that way for everybody. So I'm going to be giving my story. I got married in 2010 August, and at the end of August, I saw my period, or into September, I got my period. And, okay, no, I got my period in September because I remember, I think on my wedding day, I was already on my period. So in September, I got my period, and guys, I was crying. I sat down on the floor crying, called my husband and said he wasn't home. I said, come home, there's something very important I want to talk to you about. When he came, he saw me on the floor of the room crying, and like, what's going on, what happened? And I said, I'm seeing my God, talking about it now, it's funny, but then I wasn't laughing about it. So I was crying, I was seeing my period came out. I was just hoping that I was going to get pregnant immediately after I got married. At least I'll be pregnant before he goes back, because he'll be gone for another 4 months. So when it didn't work out that way for me, I was devastated. I shouldn't be, but I was. So my husband consoled me like it will be, and they just got married a month ago. It will come. When I see me, like I don't even understand how I was in that state at that time. But will you blame a 20-year-old me? God, like things I know now. If I had known. So when my husband left for sea, I now carried my leg to go and look for problem. So you know this, if you're Nigerian, you would know of this traditional masseuse that's, masseuse that massage. They say they'll massage your stomach, they'll massage you and this and that. So I had a big friend that took me to one of these people that would massage you, and then so this person did what they needed to do, and then the next thing she said to me was, that my fallopian tube, like I don't even understand how I was so naive to believe that. And then she told me that my fallopian tube, one of them was blocked, and I had to come for treatment and all that and all that. It's going to be impossible for me to even get pregnant. Guys, I believed that statement hook, line, sinker. Like, you just touched my stomach, yeah, and then you told me that I had a blocked fallopian tube. In other words, I needed treatment to get pregnant. I wasn't going to get pregnant. So I just stayed. My husband was already at sea, and then this was September, October, November, and just a couple of months. So I can really understand when someone says she's been married for a while and then she's not getting pregnant. I can understand the pressure, because it was just 4 months after I got married, and then people will start asking you that annoying question. Hey, what did they happen now? You never travel a full, like you're dressing up and then people are looking at your stomach. If you wear a loose clothes, and then some people are already saying congratulations. If you're sleeping at noon, people are congratulating. So I felt a bit of pressure, and believe you guys, it was me pressurizing myself more than people were even pressurizing me. So fast forward to January of the next year, I went to join my husband at sea. So because I also believed that I wasn't going to get pregnant, I just until I came back with him, because the person said I needed to come with my husband for us to undergo treatment together. So, well, we were just having sex because for the fun of it. So no longer like, oh, I had to plan it because I want to get pregnant, it had to be so and so. But my mother would always say that if you don't carry your hand, go find problem. I don't think anybody could tell you anything. So my mom does not believe in any of these things I say. I was still in the process of trying to convince my husband why we needed to go and get these treatments. Along the line, I just ran a test one day, and then I was pregnant. It was amazing. It was surprising, but then I was grateful. In other words, I didn't go for any treatment, I didn't go for anything, and then I got pregnant. Why am I sharing this particular story? Sometimes it's just the pressure we put on ourselves that kills us even before what is meant to kill us gets to. She actually told me that she wants to go for IVF. Her husband is against it, and she's below 30. Like, I had to tell her to give it time. To give it time. You've been so under so much pressure to get pregnant that you now schedule having sex to fit into the time of ovulation and all that. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. So I'm just sharing this part of my story to tell you that, okay, if you have gone for every test there is to do, if you've gone to the clinic and nothing is wrong with either you or your partner, I think you should just give it time. It will come. So back to this story of this lady that I shared with you guys, talking about having a preterm baby. I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of my background story about how I got pregnant and then into this one now. So I was pregnant with that baby, and so at 22 weeks of that pregnancy, like everybody, I was going about my normal activity. And that day, I just noticed that when I woke up in the morning, I was having this pain around my abdomen. I just felt, okay, it will go away. Never in my wildest imagination would I think that that was labor pain. So I was going about my normal activity for the day, and even while driving, the pain was there. Sometimes it would be so severe that I had to step on the brakes and, park on the side. And then after some minutes, it will go away, like labor. But then I didn't know that that was labor. That was my first pregnancy. I wouldn't know. And if I was 9 months gone, I would have been, okay, I would have expected that it was labor. So I was with that pain for a whole 24 hours. I went to my friend's place. I remember that I was at my friend's place. I was taking a nap, and when I woke up, my skirt that I was wearing was drenched with water. Like, I didn't understand what was going on. I felt maybe I had peed when I was sleeping. How would I think a lot of things was just going on in my head, but I didn't say it to her. So I just got up and then went home. But the pain was still there. So at that point, my water had broke, but I didn't know. I just felt, okay, it was pee. God help us. So in the middle of the night, the pain became unbearable. I couldn't sleep. I had to go and knock on my sister-in-law's door to please come out. That I couldn't, I don't know what was going on anymore. I was crying. So at that point, labor had started with its full force. The pain was no longer, it wasn't giving me that long interval anymore. It was more frequent, it was more severe. And when I got to the clinic, the doctor ran a scan, and then when he was doing that, he was just, shaking his head, and I knew that there was something negative. And then he said, I'm sorry, Mrs. Danielle, you are having threatened abortion. I'm like, what do you mean by threatened abortion? And he's like, okay, so my cervix is dilated. It's fully dilated, and the pregnancy cannot continue. So we have to terminate this pregnancy, because if I want to continue with this, it's going to cause an infection in my uterus, and I might no longer, be able to get pregnant ever again. And guys, at that point, I was wailing. I was no longer crying. I was wailing. Why? Because I know what I went through to get pregnant. It might not be a lot to some other person, but it was to me at that time, because I knew how I was pressuring myself. Now this, and then I had to go. I was already in labor, so there was no point doing evacuation or whatever. So they had to now place me on oxytocin injection or drip to force the labor. So went into serious labor, and then I had to give birth. So I had my baby at 22 weeks, and it was a girl. She was placed in the incubator, and well, everybody knew that she wasn't going to make it, except me, of course, who was the mom. So when I saw her, okay, so this is getting me a bit emotional. So I saw her, I was grateful to God. I'd, stand by the incubator. I would speak to her. I would, thank her for coming into my life. Like, okay, thank you for making me a mother, at least in everything I was feeling at that moment. I think this is the first time I'm actually getting this emotional talking about this. When people felt, because I'd had a lot in just that 4 months. A lot of people have said a lot of things, and things I don't want to talk about. So I was just talking to my baby, saying thank you, and yeah, basically. And then I remember the doctor telling them to give me, because I was still hopeful. So I was like asking, okay, should I get breast pump and all that, and start expressing. And then the doctor just said, give her, there was a drug he called, was it bromocriptine or whatever, to dry up the breast milk. And then I was discharged. They discharged me. I didn't want to go. I'm like, I can't leave my baby here and go home. And they said it was going to take a long time, and she was going to be in the incubator for almost 3 months. So I said, okay. So I remember I'll go in the morning, the next morning I was discharged. Okay, I get back today, and then the next day I was discharged. And then the day I was going back to the clinic, I got a call from the doctor saying I should come in. And then when I went in, Sat down and they told me, oh, baby had passed due to respiratory, whatever. I had never shared in details to anybody anything about the births and the deaths of that child. So most people would be hearing it for the first time today. Why am I doing this? To let this lady who sent me this message, who is feeling like she has failed as a mother, know that she hasn't. Times have evolved, science have, upgraded. Your baby might be in the incubator now, and your story might not be like mine. Your baby was a 27-weeker, mine was a 22-weeker, and things have changed. I am wishing you all the best out there. When they told me that the baby passed, honestly, I was just sitting down looking at the doctor in the face. So I was with my sister-in-law, like I said, who is a pediatrician, so she just tapped me and said, let's go. So we went there and went into the skibo, that special baby, whatever, and then picked up the baby. If you see us passing at that moment, you wouldn't know that we were carrying a dead baby. I'm sorry I have to be this blunt. So the baby was already wrapped in the cloth, so she just put it under her arms and then we were walking. At this point, I don't know if it was shock, but when you see me, you wouldn't know that I was going through that thing in my life. Like, I was, okay, I want to see her. Even when they put her into the, whatever, I said, I want to see her. My sister was like, Ada, you can't. I said, no, let me see. By the time I got home, my siblings were already in my house, and then I sat down. People were coming over, oh, sorry, oh, this, oh, that. And then I was like, fine. I was watching a particular series I was watching at that moment. That's what I was just doing. Like, it's okay, it's okay. I was wanting people, it's okay. People were crying, like, why are you crying? It's okay. And a lot of people were like, please, you people should watch her. It got to me was when my church ladies came around and then they got into worship, and then it just came down like rain. I cried. Like, that was when everything became a reality to me. So that was the point when I cried my eyes out and realized that I just lost my first child ever. And yeah, after I went back, after 6 weeks after that baby, he now told me, okay, so I have a condition called incompetent cervix. So it's like the cervix is not it's not strong enough, it's not competent to hold on to the weight of, it's not competent to stay closed. So we know that the cervix stays closed until labor. So my own cervix, in my case, it was not strong enough to hold on. When the baby weight gets much, the cervix starts opening, and it will open before the 9th month. So what it means is I have to go through a procedure when next I get pregnant, and this procedure is supposed to be the cervical cerclage. So it's like a procedure where they have to suture or stitch cervix to keep it closed so it doesn't open up before time. So when I got pregnant again, I had to go in at the 12th week for this procedure, and they stitch the neck of your womb, and most of the time you are asked to avoid stress. So when I'm pregnant, there are a lot of things I can't do. Like, I have to stop driving at a very early stage. I don't do any strenuous activities. I don't walk long distances. Like, I am basically just kept indoors when I'm pregnant. That's the sacrifice I had to go through to have kids. Well, I was ready to go through it. So when I had Jason, I did that, and 4 weeks it happened again. My cervix, I went into labor, and okay, before the 34 weeks, I was already dripping water, and then that 34 weeks, it went like, it just opened up like a tap, and then water was out. So it was time to give birth again. At this point, the doctor was encouraging me, oh, don't worry, once a baby had gone past 30 weeks, We are very certain your baby will survive and blah blah blah. So I was in labor for like 3 days, so they had to give me a particular injection for 2 days, so to mature the lungs of the baby, like steroids, yeah, to make the baby's lungs matured so that when he comes out he can breathe. So I was told that when I have my baby, that I should just pray that this boy cries. Like, he should give a good cry when he was born. Guys, if you see prayer, I prayed. Like, that was the only prayer I was praying. And I said, because I already named him. So I was like, Jason, you will cry. Jason, you will cry when you cry. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because Jason cried. Like, when Jason was born, people outside could hear him. And that boy still cries to today. Like, Jason cries for a shout. Like, if you just scold Jason is crying. Like, the tears are not far. Like, I always tell him, your tears are not far. so sometimes I know, like, maybe the prayer I prayed for your cry is still working till now. So guys, he cried, yeah, and they gave him a good score. He was addressed as a big primate, so he was a big preterm. He was born at 1.6 kg, so he was not incubated, but he was put in the intensive care to check for jaundice and all that. I was elated, like the fact that I could see my baby. I go there, I see him, he's fine, express breast milk and give to them. I was grateful. And I think a week after we left for the house, and yes, he is good, he is hale and hearty till today. And then I got pregnant again for Jeremy, who is now my second and my special. So why did I say Jeremy is special? At 12 weeks again, I went through the cervical cerclage procedure again. So, well, to me, everything was fine. So I went to the clinic at 24 or 26 weeks for my antenatal, and everything was fine. Doctor checked that day. I was okay. Everything was fine. And then I went back home. I'm not going to forget that day. Like, I can never forget that day. I was wearing a white tank top, and then, you know, that was the era when this flay skirts, these big skirts were in vogue, and then with the tiny belt. That was how I was dressed that day. So I was wearing a black skirt, very big one, and then a belt. So I came back from my antenatal with my updo. Everything was fine. I came home, sat down. That was the time when Telemundo was my addiction. So I was just sitting down, I was eating and watching Telemundo. And then all of a sudden, I felt this hot fluid coming down. And then I stood up, my skirt, that skirt that was that big, I was wearing, making guy, that it was heavy. Immediately, I'm no longer a first time mom. I knew that it's happening again. I looked at myself, I checked, it was 26 weeks. I was like, God, not again, not again. So the only thing that was coming out of my mouth at that time was, affliction will not arise the second time. Affliction will not arise the second time. Then I knocked on my neighbor's door and told her, I said, Abby, my water has broken again. She was the one who was fidgeting for me now. Like, Ada, let's go. And then we're going. I'm like, The only thing I was just saying was, what will be, because I can't just die. So we got to the clinic, and immediately the doctor saw me and was like, Mrs. Brisemo, you were here today. What are you doing back here? Like, my water broke. Hey, God. Even the doctor tired, because I had the cerclage on. So at that point, yeah, I started feeling like what this lady was feeling. Like, is my body failing me as a woman? Have I failed as a mother? Like, is it that I can't do right by my children or these babies? Like, what is going on with me? What is going on with my life? And then doctor just told me, okay, The water is out. Water cannot come back in. So take her, you just call the nurse, take her to the labor room, wait out for the labor. If you go to St. Catherine's in Port Harcourt and ask of Ada, there's nobody that doesn't know me. We were even to Ada that I always had issues with pregnancies. So when I was there, the first day, labor did not come. Second day, labor did not come. So when the doctor came to work the next day, like, is she in labor? No. Okay. They checked the baby's heartbeat. Jeremy's heartbeat was strong and very loud. So they moved me to a ward. I was no longer in the labor room, so they moved me to a ward. Now this ward is like my house because that ward is particularly, it's kept for people who are going to stay in the clinic for long. So it's not like the normal hospital beds that you have. It's like a normal bed, a bed that you see in a house. So I got there, the doctor came, told me that I'm not going to be going home for a very long time. And guys, it was a very long time. I was in the clinic for 2 months. So I was just lying down there. And they will come every day, they will check. Jeremy's heartbeat was strong, it was sound, it was perfect. Labor was not coming. So we were just there waiting on Jeremy. I got discharged to go home December 24th of 2013. So the doctor called me into his office. I remember at that time, when I was in that clinic, the only thing I do or I feel like doing is drink water. I would finish this ever bottle water, the carton. I can finish it in 2 days. I was always very thirsty. I want to drink water all the time. So after staying in the clinic for over 5 weeks, the doctor called me. I was asked to come down one day for a scan. And then the doctor screamed. I said, God has given him his Christmas miracle. I'm like, what's going on? And I said, I have water. Guys, when I came in the first day when this thing happened, there was no water anymore. Like my, whatever, the sack was empty. And then when we're doing this 5 weeks later, the water was sufficient enough to sustain this child. It was a miracle. It was my miracle. I asked for, like, I wanted a miracle. I didn't want to lose another child. I was discharged to go home, but strictly on bed rest. So I went home and then stayed home for like 2 weeks, and then the labor came at 31 weeks. When the labor came this time, there was no stopping it. No one can stop labor. And then I gave birth. Let me show you guys. You see this clothes? I've kept it since 2014 when I had Jeremy. I had Jeremy January of 2014. This cloth is very special to me because this was the first onesie that he wore 1 month after his birth. So when he was born at 1.2 kg. Guys, if you've seen babies, if you see a 2 point, a 3 point, you know that they are small. Compare that to a 1.2 kg baby, you would know how small that child was. And if this is what Jeremy wore 1 month after, even in this tiny clothes, Jeremy was not, he didn't fill up the clothes. He was like somewhere around this point. This was where he, like this, that was why I kept this clothes. Because I said I was going to show Jeremy when he is grown. Like, I'm going to show you that this was the first clothes you wore. Even when I brought out this clothes yesterday, he was, it was funny to him, but he still doesn't understand. And probably I'm going to lose this clothes one of these days in my life, moving here and there. But I'm grateful that I'm even doing this video, so it's going to be saved on the internet for life. So guys, I had this child. Did I feel bad? Yes. Did people talk about it? Yes. Did people mock me about it? Yes. I had these babies. As a preterm child, they don't latch. A child cannot latch on the breast till they are 2 kgs. So Jeremy and Jason, I had to express, and Sometimes the breast pump does not even work perfectly. So I always go through this torture of, my sister-in-law would always press with her hand for us to have this breast milk. I go through my own pains as a mom. These children are going through this. People come to my face. I had people who told me to my face, this has never happened in our family. Why is it happening to you? Someone told me when I was crying, when I lost a child and I was crying, that you don't pray. You are not a prayerful woman. That is why these things are happening to you. Like, people will torture you. People don't understand. People don't empathize. Not everybody will. Let me not generalize it. There are people who would, empathize with you, and there are those that don't even watch what they say. It was not my doing. I didn't cause myself to have an incompetent cervix. I am going through a lot to ensure that these babies are born and are alive. I go through this. You don't understand what it means to go through or have cervical circlage on. If you've ever had a stitch on your skin, maybe you can understand a bit of where I'm coming from. But when you have to stitch your cervix, it's a different ball game. I remember for my last child, Justin, who was a 10 baby, he came at 38 weeks. I was over the moon. And all my kids are special to me because they all have their testimonies. They all have their stories. I have stories surrounding the birth of all my children. For Jason, he came, he made me a mom, he wiped my tears. His pregnancy was one pregnancy that I didn't go through a lot of hassle and sickness for. Through it all, he survived. Everything he went through, because he actually went through things, in the incubators, you will see them with a lot of dollars into a little, like you can literally see the veins in Jeremy's body when he was born. He was a strong boy. He fought, he came, he stayed, and he is still here with me till today. Justin helped those that their mouth refused to rest to shut it for me, because the whole she not the born became mature, it ended. So like, I don't joke with these children. I don't. I don't joke with them. If you have to get through them, you will pass through me. Yes, you will pass through me because I know what I went through. I am sharing this story because if you've not been in somebody's shoes, you don't understand where it pinches them. That's why I don't try to work on or try to work in anybody's shoes. When I see women who go through stuff to get babies, or go through stuff to get pregnant, or people going through stuff or go through things when it comes to trying to get pregnant or having children, I don't speak, because you who have it easy, we're grateful for you. But those of us that have it tough does not make any of us less of a woman. And I'm saying it today to you, the lady who sent me this message. I don't want to mention your name. You are a mother. You are a woman. The fact that you are even concerned shows how much you love your child. Because one lady, that's why somebody told me once that no be belle. Wait to make your own day special. Wait to make your own, you stay for hospital. No be belle, all of us they carry. Me and you don't get the same face. Me and you don't have the same body. We're not going through the same things. So, sometimes you don't want to talk, especially when you're pregnant. At that moment, as I said, when I'm pregnant, it's not beauty that is my problem. It's how to just carry these children to a point where they come out healthy and alive. That's my own. Anything you want to talk, it's your business. If I'm on bed rest for 10 months, it's not your bed. What people go through, you just sit and judge. So, to you, this beautiful subscriber who sent me this message, if anyone is talking, because she also said that chat I put up on the screen is just one of it. When we went further to talk, she said people are saying, let them say. The only thing that should be your concern right now is how to leave that clinic with your baby at the end of the day, alive and healthy. Preterm babies have nothing wrong with them. In fact, Doctors used to tell me then that preterms turn out to be one of the brilliant kids when they grow up. And I'm testifying to that. I tell you that my babies were preterm. You would never know. They are not lacking behind. They are not looking unhealthy. They are just perfect. And when it comes to academics, they are even doing marvelously well. So I don't know why you would want to talk down on somebody who has a preterm baby. And I know this is a long one, guys. I know this is a long video, but I had to share this story to encourage mothers. The doctor has also told you that you have an incompetent cervix and you have to go through this procedure. It is well with you. God will see you through. It is a sacrifice that we have to make as mothers. I know how we used to carry Jeremy, very tiny human being then. We'll carry him and feed, like you can spend an hour plus to feed because it has to be gradual. So they just need more care. You have to devote more time to them. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of this video. Thank you for watching this video up to this point. I am sorry, I know it's a long watch, but then I'm just trying to speak my truth and encourage somebody out there that you don't ever say you're a bad mother because you had issues with pregnancy. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to my channel. I still have a lot of things I want to share with you. And like I said in the last video, guys, put down in the comment section what you want me to talk about on a Tuesday, True Talk Tuesday. And I'll be seeing you guys in my next video. And until then, stay amazing and be beautiful always. Bye, guys.